Hi, welcome back to Better Creating. Now, I reckon Notion's rapid evolution has left too many of us users overwhelmed. Don't get me wrong, each update brings powerful capabilities, but who of us really has time to learn them all? We end up ignoring new features that could transform our workflows simply because there's just too many of them to evaluate. So for that reason, today, I'm actually going to show you the 5 recent Notion features that are actually worth embracing, ones that most users are overlooking due to that feature overwhelm. So here's what we'll cover: Notion's latest AI meeting notes and research tools. I'm going to show you how layouts and tabbed views can make Notion way easier to navigate. I'll demonstrate a quick email to task conversion method and a kind of bump button for tasks, which I'm really enjoying, using new formulas. And I'll reveal a powerful dashboard design technique that I think you're going to love. Not only that, I'll demonstrate exactly how to integrate them by updating my main Notion Life OS template right in front of you. In fact, this will allow you, in the fraction of the time it took me to figure them out, to add them to your workspace, whether it's in this template or in whatever you're doing. So whether you fancy tweaking your own setup or you already own one of my Life OS systems and want to join in updating with me, these innovations will fundamentally level up how you use Notion. These feature updates stood out to me because, well, they're worth it for 3 really good reasons. They solve universal pain points, they deliver outsized results, and they work together synergistically. Now, there might be a few flashy other features out there, but these are the ones I think that really make the difference. And if you like the look of what you see in my workspace, you can get my Notion Life OS template collection and smaller templates at bettercreating.com below, so you can just kind of get it out the box and crack on. Time to start riding the wave of what Notion can really do. Before we continue any further, we have to talk about the 2 big updates that came to Notion this week, and they are Notion AI related. This isn't necessarily something you'd put directly into something like a Life OS, but it does sit there in a very exciting way to integrate. So if we go to Home, you'll see that I have this updated AI interface. If I click within that, we've now got the option to use OpenAI's GPT 4.1 or Anthropic Claude 3.7 Sonnet. Now, those 2, particularly the Claude, are really powerful at researching and particularly writing. So giving instructions to them, I find that's an amazing writing assistant. More importantly though, we've got this research function. It allows you to search all sources. You can connect apps into it to search through those as well. You can turn on and off web search, look at pages and mention people, and through that process, it's quite amazing what you can do. Here's a little history of what I've been doing. I gave a little example here of I'd like to research information on using Notion as a task manager and the best ways to do it. It's unbelievable the number of sources it drew on. I mean, I actually got worried it wasn't going to stop. What's cool is it's referencing templates in my system. It's looking at web searches, blog posts, my content, scripts that I've written. So if you're someone that gathers a knowledge base in Notion, I think this is going to be massive for you. And the results, you've got summary, it draws its own conclusions. It then will reference different references, so a script and one of my templates, examples of how people are using it, from Red Gregory's blog to super.so. It's really quite cool. And you have all of this down in this interface in the bottom right as well. But you'll spot something here. If I open up the settings, you'll see it's asking me to upgrade to business for a couple of other connectors. And the reason being, there's a caveat. Before we talk about this second item, Notion AI meeting notes, this is actually, if we then go to pricing, these are actually only going to be available on the business plan. So what they're really doing is, I think where they used to recommend the Plus plan for most people, they're just upping the price a bit, but they are offering a lot more. Now, where does this leave us? Well, don't worry. I think that most people who are using Notion, I mean, I ran a business around Notion on a 0 free plan for absolutely ages, and I'm currently on a Plus plan. It's been absolutely fine, and you get this trial of Notion AI to generate docs and autofill databases. But if you're taking into account that you're going to be getting, with Notion AI, for $16.50, integrations with Claude and GPT, you're also going to be getting AI meeting notes that could replace whatever system you're using, and it's good, and that research mode, which for some might be akin to, say, Perplexity. But let's talk about AI meeting notes, because that's probably the other serious bit of kit that we're getting. And it might be one you actually want to integrate more directly into your Notion workspace. So in Notion Life OS, for example, if I go to knowledge base, I have this meeting notes template. So I could go in to my meeting notes template and edit the template. And where I used to have these kind of items for summarizing and actioning using normal AI notes, now I've got my / AI meeting notes window. But rather than do that in the template, if we created a new meeting note, it's really simple. All you're going to want to do is come in to a page and go, oh, I need to do notes / meeting, confirm your consent. And now what you're going to see is it actually listening to me. So wherever you are and whoever's in the room, it will listen to your conversation. You can take your own notes, you can drop agenda in so that it will have that context. And the great thing about this is you can set your mic, your audio, etc., etc. You can also set a format for the notes. You can set up your consent item, because the point is that when you log in to Zoom, Google Meet, whatever it is, this is going to work throughout all of them without needing to actually plug it in. It's pretty impressive. And then if we press stop, we'll see it generate a title, generate notes. Your notes will be taken into account as well as what's transcribed. And it really is doing quite a lot. Now, there you go. For me, AI meeting notes are possibly the best decision that Notion have made in a very long time. Why? Well, Notion has always been a note-taking app at its heart. It's meant to replace that paper feel of the notebook in a more organized digital form. And what we're seeing here is AI integrated directly into that workspace in a way that truly will make a massive difference to note takers out there. Give it a go. I think it could well be worth it. So that's AI notes, but we need to go a little further with building out some of the new features into our workspace. So let's see what else is possible. Okay, layout features you should use. So we're here in my Notion Life OS template, and I'm actually going to update this live in front of you. Now, the first example is how to use layouts and tabbed database views. So if I go into an example project in the projects database and click on customize layout, you'll see this view. Now, we have options to do tabbed views, which would come up here. And we also have options to update the layout of the page. And when you've got tons and tons of properties, this can be super helpful. Now, I think you have to embrace these. They are totally awesome. They don't mess with your setup in any way and are really easy to implement. So here we are in a project view. Whatever database you want to work in, go into an existing view and select at the top above the title, customize layout. Now, whatever you change here will change right across the database, but since it's really only the way it looks, it's very easy to put back, so don't worry about doing it too much. Now, my first thing I would suggest with a project, if we're in the projects database, is to pin some things in the heading. So, for example, I might want to put my project status, and it just moves things up from the usual group that you would be used to looking at and drops it in below the title. So in projects, I'm going to have status. I'd like to have my project timeline. And really you want to think like, what are the important things you'd like to see at the top? Now it's quite contained, so like big reports like this wouldn't work there. But I am going to add my related area. We've got status, project timeline, and you can have up to 4. So maybe I'll move my mark as reviewed button up, so I've got a quick way to mark it as reviewed when I've looked at it. So let's just apply that to all pages. Now you can reset and just leave it, but let's just leave it like this. Click apply to all pages. And that just means that everything will now start looking like that, which I think is so much better. Now we've also got this properties view with everything linked together, right? So let's improve on that now. So if we go back into customize layout, the other advantage of this is we can now click on that box and we can create a section. So if you click add section, I'm going to put in here project management, and I'm also going to create another section which I'm going to call system. And the reason I'm going to do this is drag system down. This then just allows us to put anything we don't want to see out the way. So like, I'm not really using subtasks in this. I don't want to see the list of tasks that are related. I don't need it. Review overdue isn't needed because there's a report. But things like project report, I can have under project management. The year is useful to have. Last review date, that can go down into this. You might want to keep next review date in and set review frequency, because that's where you're going to manage your weekly review in my system. Or I could add a section that's purely for weekly review. So let me just move a few things around. So now I have that. Let's apply that to all pages. And now we're in this view, I can close the system view and the project management view, and we've got a really nice clean setup. The great advantage of this is I can see my relations field, which I've got here for adding new elements. And when I need to look at project management, I can look in and see the report, and it's really, really simple. I could even add a section for reports and apply that. And now we just can cover everything up and just have that report view as we need it. I think it's so much cleaner. Now, there are other things you can do with layouts, such as create new sections. And you could also take all of your properties that you had and move them across into a side panel. And by doing this, if I apply that to all pages, you'll see that we have hardly anything up here. And then we just have a little option to click on view details here, and we'll show all of those elements that we've grouped over in this side of the space. So if you wanted to keep that super simple, you're able to then just use that and hide it away. So it's up to you. But since this is a template, I'm actually going to move this back and drop it in below the relations section and apply that to all pages, so that for you lot, if you downloaded this, you wouldn't be completely confused with what's going on. The final thing you can do is add sections. So I could create a section for files and media and drop that in, and to that panel, any files or media that are attached to this would turn up within that view. But for me, I'm going to remove it from layout because I quite like how it is right now. Apply that to all pages, and that's layout. But there's a further step that we might want to take with this, which is to look at tabbed views. And the way we do that is we go to this view, just click on the top of your page and select tabbed views. And this is going to allow you to solve some very brilliant problems of how we view all the information down here currently now in tabs. Now, I would propose that in Life OS, we make these changes across a couple of different databases. I think you might want to do it in life areas, which you would do in the same way. You would go in and select customize layout, and you'd be able to start pinning items and updating your properties as you see fit. But for now, let's carry on with tabbed views. Now, the benefit of tabbed views is probably something like this. If I go to my Better Creating workspace and go to my content manager, and we take a little look at one of my video plans, you'll see currently now we have tabbed views, which is the original page, and I've updated my views as we've described, but I've then also got a sponsorship link for linking to my CRM, and I can see in a single view all of the knowledge that I've linked to the video I'm creating as a proper gallery. Now, it used to be that I had to go down and kind of add it in, you know, within my system of like, oh, where is it? Linked research, and then I've got a table of knowledge. I just don't think that's as effective as being able to quickly go, what knowledge have I linked to this on the top tabbed view? So let's look at how we do that now in our Life OS. I'm going to do this in projects, but you would potentially want to do this on anything where you want to see a linked view of something. And the most obvious use case for this is probably knowledge and tasks. So let's now go into our project example and let's add ourselves a view. But before we do that, I'm just going to link some stuff to it. So I've now linked a few things to the project from knowledge and tasks. If we go into any one of our project views that we know has got something linked to it, as we can see here. Now here's an example task that is linked into the system. We also can see down here, we've also got something that's in the inbox, and in the knowledge base, if we look under all notes, we'll see we've got notes on branding, and we've got a para method reference for articles. So there's a bunch of things in there. Now there's an argument to say that you don't need any of these views anymore. It will be up to you, because we can now start to put them in as tabbed views. So let's go to customize layout and just click on the very top of the page and make sure you're selecting tabbed. You can adjust some of these things as well if you want discussions on or off, if you want your view for every single page to be full width or not. That's really helpful. I recommend that for things like projects and areas because it just means that you can see what you're doing. So we're going to go and add a new tabbed view, and we can see all the relations that are linked to it. Now we want to start with tasks, so we're going to select that. And what you'll see with this is if you click on the filter view, it will show you that it's automatically showing anything that's linked to this page. So that's just done for you. Fantastic. And what we will need to do with this though is you're going to have to build it out in a way that works for you, because here's the thing, you're not going to be able to use the templates that you created before as easily. So what we'll do with this view is up on this side, we'll go to layout. Let's keep it as a table. We're going to wrap the columns so that we can see everything. And I would like to, with properties, I'm actually going to hide all properties so we can then just select the ones we want. I'm going to keep it really simple. I want the due date if there is one, and I want the deadline date if there is one. I would like to add my important and urgent options. There it is down here. And let's just move those over because this is what allows me to set the priority of a task in my system. And I'm going to just squeeze these down. And therefore, I'd also like to see in mine my priority matrix. I'm going to move that up. This is an easier way to move them around. There you go. So I can see what priority is set for them. You'll see it kind of changes depending on what I press. And I'd probably like to see in this if it's linked to an area as well, in case I want to do that. And I've got various other options that I might want to put. I'm going to definitely put in my completed button. Put that right at the beginning. And we're probably going to want to see status as well. Now you can rename this. So we could make various views within this. So this could be, for example, tasks inbox, and we can do all the usual things we would do with something. So we can add a filter and we could go where status is inbox, and then it will just show stuff in inbox. Or we might just want to make this all tasks, but where status is not complete so that they disappear when you've done them. And this could therefore be add to an advanced filter as a rule. This could then be live and new tasks. And that is how you can add views. Now, of course, you can do anything you want with this. So let's do one more and let's add related knowledge to the mix, notes and references database. And in this view, I think for a project, it would be really nice for the layout to be a gallery. We can wrap stuff in it. I want to open these pages in side peek for an easy view when I want to do that. And let's make the page cover, perhaps the top, and we're going to make them small. And then I can go and find my properties. And with this, I think it would be really nice to see the report that I've created for it, its status, and maybe a quick summary. Oh, AI summary, much better. So I can see the information I need to see on the data linked to the project. Simple as that. Apply that to all our pages. And we now have, within our project view, we now have a content view, and when we can see live tasks, notes and references. The great thing about this is, if we now go back to our master database and we look at another task, those updates have been added to every single item in that database. So it means that you've kind of formatted the entire system to do this. It's super powerful stuff. So I fundamentally recommend having a play with it. You can't really break things, it just adds value. And so in my opinion, it might therefore mean that later down the line, you actually want to update these views to clear out some of the mess in your project pages. So if you're going to do that on a database, if you work like I do, you probably work with database templates. So I can click into that, click edit, and within this section, I can then clear out anything I don't want to see. Now, if you already own a LifeOS template and are wanting to make these updates with me, try those two examples. And then really the way to do it would be to go through and look at existing page templates for databases like a project or an area, look at the views, look at the filters, and you would copy the views that you most want to have in a tabbed view. So use the same filters and sorts. I can also then check and go, oh, what properties are added here? And you'll be able to copy the properties that have been put in. You essentially could recreate every single one of these views for the project in tabbed views, and it's done. So that's linked views and tab views. Let me know in the comments how you get on. And I think next we should look at my favorite way to manage dashboards for databases. I think there's a new trick that I've worked out of how to get all of these dashboards here into a rather sexy gallery view at the top of our page. Let's do it. Now, I'm in my demo space to show you what I've built. Now, in my current Live OS, I have this little, it's essentially a link in like a / toggle heading 1, like that. Yeah. And I've just linked to the current page. And what this allows me to do is open this up, and then I've got a view similar to this of all the different places you might want to go. So I might go to my calendars, and then I can use the same thing to jump back, right? There's a better way to do this now, I think, or certainly a one that you might prefer. I've created a similar thing just with a homepage button, and we would paste this everywhere or put it in a synced block that you could then drop the thing into and copy and sync it and place it everywhere across your workspace, and you've got a lovely new menu. But in here, I've got this, which I just think is a lovely way to manage those sections in a bit more of a manageable way. And even better, if you pop it up the top, I think it looks a really cool way to manage a main menu. Now, your menu could have everything, but why not do it like this, right? It becomes more like a website, and it just means you can quickly jump to those views. And you can even, as a result, set how things open, right? So with my action view, I can treat it like a database because I'll drop them into a database, and I can set the way that pages open, full page. And you could build out a really comprehensive design to negotiate your workspace. And of course, if you want to, because it's now a database, you can make it look lovely. So the card preview could be the page cover, and you could update these just to feel a little bit bougier. And potentially then, you don't even need any of these views if it's not your vibe. You certainly wouldn't need this main menu on the right. And so I guess what you'd be talking about then is like taking these elements and having them sit below a main menu like that. So if you like the idea of this, it's very simple to achieve. So let's go across to my Notion Life OS, and we're going to do the basics of how to update this. So I currently, in my system, have all of my dashboards down here under this toggle. This is all the master databases where we keep everything, the only place you wouldn't want to delete something. And then I've got dashboards, which are just pages, and there's meal planners and all the rest of it. So what we're actually going to do here is we're going to, in here, I'm going to do / database full page. We're going to call this master dashboards. Now, the advantage of doing this is it gives you much more customization of how you manage your menus, because we're actually going to create within this a couple of checkboxes which will become essentially those menus. So this would be add to main menu, for example, and then you could duplicate these and call them whatever you want, right? So then this one becomes the add to plan menu. Okay, so I've got a system view and it's all ready to go. So this is how we do it. First of all, we're going to go back to Life OS and we're going to open up our dashboards view, and I want you to literally select everything that's in that view and just drop it into master dashboards. I'm going to leave the task bin there because I want to be able to access that. And it means you could now essentially delete that view, and we'll drop that in there. If we go into master dashboards, now every single one of them is a page, except for like meal planner dashboards, which in themselves, if you open, will just be the other dashboards within there. So they're there. But I think those, and also the financial dashboards, if we open those up, those all just need to be their own thing. So that's fine. We're then going to create new views, which will become our menu views. So I would like to make those a gallery, and we're going to call the first one home, for example. This could be your home view. And on this, I want to select like my circle. So I actually don't want to see, you could do covers, but I don't really want to see that. I just want it to be really simple. So I'm going to have on this, I'm going to keep them medium, but I'm going to make the page cover none, wrap all the properties just in case. And then I want to set it to open in full page. So that's nicely set up. It currently shows you absolutely everything. I would suggest that in here, you set these up in an order that you would be happy with, right? So probably with this, let's give this an icon as well, so it looks nice and clean. If you order these in the way that you would want them to turn up, that's a very good idea. So I'm going to do projects, life areas are going to go up the top. Above that, I want my tasks to be towards the top. So just set these in an order that you want to see them. So there we go. I've set mine in perhaps the order I would imagine wanting to click on the most, right? So it kind of goes through actions, habit tracking and workout tracking, knowledge, finances, and then goals. We kind of view those elsewhere, but you probably come to them later. Maybe that wants to be at the top. So there you go. That's everything in there. And then all we would do is, let's say I'll add to our main menu view. I'm just going to say, well, what would I want to have at the top of my main menu? It might be things that I tend to focus on. So it might be life areas, a task list, goal setting, and my calendars. Maybe those are the things that I want. Now we would go to home and we just want to go filter by main menu is checked, and it will give us those views. Save it for everyone, and there you go. You could, I believe, just move these around in the order that you want to see them. So it might go like that. I'm actually going to go back now, and this is how you can just quickly manage your menus. I can just go, actually, I don't want my calendars in there. I want my projects in there. Go and check the main menu and move projects up, and I've got my system as I need it. Fantastic. Then what we can do, once we're happy with how that's working, we can duplicate it and call it the next thing. So this one's going to be my planning menu, and let's give that an arrow. Keep all the layouts the same, but now what we want to do is go, well, let's add things to the planning menu, and that is going to be goals, calendars, year summaries, and maybe we'll also add para. We do the same thing. We now change the filter though, so that the filter is where we turn this into an advanced filter actually, where add to plan menu is checked. Save for everyone. And there you have your views. Now we can do the same again, duplicate, and we'll call this one action. You could maybe label it, and you guessed it, back in system, we just want to duplicate one of these and call it action menu. And we can select our action menu to be the things where we believe we'll be actioning, including maybe weekly review. In fact, the weekly review should be in planning, shouldn't it? Let's just add it. Boom. I'm going to remove para. You guessed it, go in, adapt the filter to be add to action menu. Save for everyone. And actually, I think these are better named planning menu, home menu. Now I'm just going to finish off my other two types of menus based on what I have, and then add it to the system and show you how it works on the home page. So there's our menu system. Looks like a big thing to have built, but actually it's going to be really powerful. And the great thing is you can quickly go and update your menus when you need to. Great, so there it is. Now let's jump back in and add it to the main home page. So now if you want to add this in here, you could just drop it within this. Now, if you like this menu but aren't sure if you'll want to use the new one, you could just drag this and drop it down here out the way so you don't need it. But let's just quickly add one for now. I'm going to actually copy that because that's a good link to the main page. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do /togh, and I want to do a toggle H1, and then we're going to paste that in. Just ignore those two. That's all we need. That will now take us back to this page. And within here, we want to do /linked view of a database. Select that. Select your new master dashboards view, and then easily done, you would just select, say, home, and there it is. Now, the one thing I didn't do is hide these. So hide database title, it looks a lot cleaner. So yeah, carry on. There's home, and then we just keep adding here, gallery, master dashboards, and it would be planning, hide the title, gallery, master dashboards, action, hide the title, gallery, you get the idea, show two more, capture, and hide the title, and finally, gallery, master dashboards, track, and hide the title. And there you have a really fast menu that you can easily jump between. I just think that is an absolute game changer of a menu. Potentially means that you now might just take these and drop them in underneath this toggle, and very quickly you're looking at an even simpler LifeOS system, potentially with a new menu that you prefer. One other option for this could be to take this menu and just drop it in this area as we've had before, and then when you open it up, what's great is it kind of reformats itself to be everything, meaning that if you want your home menu to be absolutely everything, you could even group and create grouped areas for the menu as well. So we could have a plan group and so on and so forth. So you could label them and do it by that. So if you were doing that and we wanted this home menu on the side to operate like that, I would probably go back into master dashboards, and then on system, I would just literally select everything that needs to be in it, probably like not these smaller ones. Contacts would go in there, budgets would go in there, perspectives, para, portfolio. That gives you your main menu. You could then create a new property called packed, is what I call it. Make the type a select, or maybe even better if you want to have multiple things, you make it a multi-select. And in here, you could then add these and even color code them, right? So we go, this means that you can then select each one to show how you want it to set. So quick drop inbox, I'm actually going to make that both capture and action. Tasks, action. I'll just go through and quickly update these. So there they all are now grouped in that. And the really quick way then to update this view would be to actually go and group by the packed system. And there you go. There is our setup. Now, if we go back to our home page and open up our new view and just make sure we also group this one by the packed system. Now we've got a dashboard view that I think is working super well. Actually, what you're going to need to do now is just delete the view. I'm going to add a new view again and just remount the one that we've created for our new version. And there it is, everything listed within our page. You can even move things up if you want them to sit elsewhere, hide the database title, and you've now got a kind of similar layout, but it's working with those options as you want them. So this is a new way for you to manage your menu as well. Now, once you've added your dashboards to a system like this, you do have one small problem. If we now go into our, say, Life Areas dashboard, we've then got all of these views turning up. So we need to customize this. So we're going to go back to the idea of customizing our layout and take this property group and just get rid of it. We don't want to see it, right? And in fact, I would make sure that all of these are set to always hide, so that really we're just not allowing the user, yourself, to ever have to look at it in this area. We only want to do that when we manage our dashboards. So let's apply that to all pages. And now you have a quick view where you can view properties if you need to. So yeah, maybe you want to show them like that, but that's as simple as that. So just make sure you do that so the whole thing looks a little cleaner. The great news is now if you go to like any of your dashboards, that will all look fine. Hope you enjoyed that. I think it works beautifully well. And now wouldn't be a bad time to go and get subscribed for more great content on tech and productivity systems that can make your life better, from Apple to Notion and all the rest. Okay, next I want to show you some worthwhile ways to integrate AI. But before I show you that awesome email task management hack, I do want to do this. And if you don't currently use Notion AI, it is paid, but I really think it's the thing that unlocks Notion in a number of ways. Now, this example, the first one I want to show you, I'm actually not going to show you it in Notion Life OS. I'm going to show you it within my personal theatre career website that I've been building. So I'm actually using Notion to build a website. Now, not everyone knows this about me, but I create theatre shows. Now, for example, if I go into this production page, what I'm able to do is create AI summaries. So what I can do is select, if I edit this property, I've added an AI autofill page, and then you click on more and you can tell it what you want it to do. So I actually asked this one to find, as I imported my old website, what I did. So I did direction on this, and it's genuinely done a brilliant job at creating all of these different categories automatically. Another great example in this one was that I used custom autofill, and I said, summarize this page by adding a line about the production, excluding mentions of my name. And if there is a review within the page, can you share one or two of them word for word here and start with the stars next to it? And wow, it did it. It literally found the reviews and dropped them in. This meant I could very, very quickly format great looking reports of my past work. It's super powerful. And the other good thing about it is you can do a lot of great design using Notion these days, just by setting up your site settings and away you go. But the next use case of Notion AI is super cool, and this is the redesign of AI blocks to 2.0. This is my favorite, the ability to select and mention pages referenced within writing. Here's a demo of how to do it. So let's go into projects, and we're going to edit in here the new project template. And let's click edit. I'm going to open it up as a full page so you can see it. And here you'll see, I currently have like project overview and I have project objectives in the template. I'm actually going to make that nice and gray. And maybe we'll just drop that in. Maybe I want AI to help me write something else. So in here, we're going to put an AI block. These are released, are super exciting. We're going to click on these. Now you might have used custom AI blocks before, but what's great about this version is it will allow you to mention people, pages, or dates, and you can use selected sources or the entire workspace. So this means I can reference things. So for example, I might put in here, use a selected source only, the current page, but I could also then find other pages, such as a style guide, for example, for brands or whatever. So I'll just put this in as an example. This is a style guide for my socials writing. And now what you might want to put in here is, so it could be something like that, yeah? So let's just generate it. I mean, it's going to use my style guide for social media, so who knows what will happen, plus the current page. Let's just generate that. There you go. It will show me, so it's kind of going like, you know, the only information it's got is on social media strategy, but it gives me that, metrics, blah, blah, blah. And this could be a really super cool way to start to be able to plan out tasks or projects and use Notion AI in a more focused way, but particularly around, let's say, style guides for writing. So let me just show you another example. I'm going to delete that, but you could really mess around with that. You could be dropping these into templates pre-written, and then when you open up these, you can generate them. It's going to be great. So, you know, I think that's rather cool. If we actually go maybe back to my actual Better Creating homepage and go to my content manager, we could do something slightly different. Now, here's my script in here, right? So if I open this up and go to my plan, and let's open up my script here. This is a script for this current video. So what we could do, I mean, I'm playing with other things around my AI assistant that I'm building, but if we go down here and do AI block, you can mention things, please repurpose this. And then I can mention style guide for socials here, use the selected sources only, generate, and we'll see what we get. Now, what you're seeing happen here is I'm getting generated a set of custom Twitter threads. It's going to do YouTube community posts and all the rest. And the reason it's done that is because in settings, if we go to this style guide, I've got another page in Notion that gives outputs, objectives, and examples of great posts. This is so, so powerful, and I can't recommend using Notion AI just for this. Is super, super powerful. Okay, let's move on. But listen, if you want to see how far you can go with integrating AI with Notion, you might also enjoy my recent video on creating an AI agent that can update my Notion workspace for me. I've even named it Simon. It's wild. I've linked the video below. Right, let's move on to email into task and a couple of other cool button hacks for your task manager. Now, I've recently realized there is a simple and brilliant solution to turning emails into tasks super quickly in your Notion project manager. This has been drawn in from Notion Mail. Here's how to do it, at least until Notion Mail finally offers it as an integration. You can learn more about Notion Mail as well on my video link below, but you've got to watch this first. Okay, probably saving the best till last. So this is a free Chrome or Safari extension that you can just add, and it will turn up here, and you can create, if we zoom in a little bit, you can create these little forms. And I've got a turn into task form that will add everything into my task manager. So this is how you would do it over in Notion Mail. Now, it's great, but it doesn't have this function yet. So let's say that I wanted to add one of these in there. I'm using Notion Mail in the browser because, of course, I'll need to be in Chrome or Safari to use this extension. So what I would do is click on my little Notion Mail item. If you add it as an extension and can't find it, just click on this little jigsaw element and make sure that you've pinned Save to Notion over into this area. And then you create a new form. You would just click Add New Form. You want to add to an existing page or database, and you want to find your tasks database. So I'm going to find BC tasks. The task, I don't want it to be page title. I want to turn that into paragraph, and I'm just going to call it from email like this. The content image, I'm going to just make it the website icon, and clip action, you can set to extract page content so that you get the email in the task. The template I'm going to use myself. Weirdly, you have to double click this and it comes up a new task template. And then you can add fields within it. So for example, I probably want to add status, and I want to add maybe projects. I'll set the status as not started. I want to add a due date. These are all things within my task manager, right? So let's just find due date. And I'm going to add my important and my urgent priority matrix items. And you can move these around as you see fit. I'm going to change the due date to today without time, but you can also update this at a later point. Oh, and I'm also going to add in, maybe I want to add in my areas that I can link it to. And of course, you can pre-fill any of these. So I could set this to always be for the YouTube channel and then change it later if I wanted, just for speed. But there it is. And I'm going to rename this demo. Save the form, and then you end up with this. If I just quickly show you on Notion, here's one that's come in already, and these are all my tasks that are due today or overdue. There's another list of them here, right? So let's add it in to my to-do list. Click on the button, click Turn into Task, and I can label it as I want. Proof website changes for JP. I'm going to make this important and urgent and leave the due date as today. I might just link it to a website project, and we're all set. Click Save the Page, and if we jump back to Notion, there it is. The great thing about it though is if we open this up, you'll see it's all been pre-filled, the dates are added, the information is in there, but even better, I can then click this and jump straight back to the task. Pretty cool. Emails into tasks in Notion. But there's one more thing that you should probably also note that I've done here, which I'm really enjoying. If we go back to Notion here, let's say that I didn't manage to get it done. I've now created a little bump one day button. So if I click that, it will bump that to the next day. Really simple. If you want to know how to make this, this is how you do it. In properties, if we now go into bump one day and edit the automation, what I've created is a button. So I've done a button in the database, and I've clicked edit this page and selected the property due date and put this formula in. Date add open brackets now, open and close brackets, by 1 day. And that will bump it, essentially change the date to 1 day past now. And you could do that as well by just changing this, as you'll see here, to weeks. And this will quickly then show you, so currently it will change it to the 8th. If you do it as a week or months, it will do July and so on and so forth. So a really simple way to now use formulas within buttons to bump a task. I really love this one. So actually, what I've actually now got in my view here is bump for a day, but also bump for a week, which I just think is super cool. So if you want to do that, just add yourself a new button onto your page. In properties, you go new property, find button, and edit your automation to add edit property, due date, custom formula, and that is where you can insert that formula. Implementing these ideas are sure to transform how Notion serves you as your productivity engine. But let me know in the comments what features you want to see added or improved in Notion to make it better yourself. And definitely get across to bettercreating.com to check out my larger and smaller Notion templates if you are new here. But before you go, remember this. These systems are great, but only if you build the right habits and approaches to using them. So I think you should watch this video next for the 3 essential productivity lessons that actually stuck with me and made a difference after testing hundreds of them. It would be awesome if you left a like, great if you click my face to subscribe, and I'll see you there. Bye.